The Intercept is reporting on Hillary Clinton's ties to Wall Street, and needless to say, there are some concerning facts that should anger liberals. So, according to public disclosures, by giving just 12 speeches to private equity firms and financial corporations, she made over $2.9 million. So let's go ahead and take a look at a chart here, and this breaks it down for us. So when she spoke for Ameriprise, she got $225,000. She got the same amount of money for talks at Apollo Management Holdings and Bank of America. Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce paid her $150,000 for a speech. Deutsche Bank paid her $485,000 for a speech. Fidelity Investments $225,000. Golden Tree Asset Management, $275,000. Goldman Sachs for doing just a handful of speeches there. I forget whether it was 2 or 3 or whatever it was. But she got paid $675,000 for just talking to Goldman Sachs. Gee, I mean, they really must care deeply about what her position is on abortion and stuff like that, right? It's all about policy substance. That's why they're giving her money. They really want to dive into a brilliant political mind. Isn't that what's going on here? And then Morgan Stanley and UBS also paid $225,000 to her for her to give a speech. They continue here with the article in The Intercept. They say, to put these numbers in perspective, compare them to lifetime earnings of the median American worker. In 2011, the Census Bureau estimated that across all majors, a bachelor's degree holder can expect to earn about $2.4 million over his or her work life. A Pew Research analysis published the same year estimated that a typical high school graduate can expect to make just $770,000 over the course of his or her life. This means that in 1 year, 2013, Hillary Clinton earned almost as much from 10 lectures to financial firms as most bachelor's degree holding Americans earn in their lifetimes, and nearly 4 times what someone who holds a high school diploma could expect to make. Now, furthermore, the Associated Press notes that during Hillary's time as Secretary of State, quote, Bill Clinton earned $17 million in talks to banks, insurance companies, hedge funds, real estate businesses, and other financial firms. Altogether, the couple are estimated to have made over $139 million from paid speeches. All right, now, understand, there are still some characters out there, I don't know how this is the case, but it is the case, who argue that it's not really corruption if you have people donating to super PACs or donating to a campaign because the money's not going directly into the wallet of said politician, so therefore there's not necessarily a situation where it's bribery, they're not necessarily doing them favors, so that doesn't count. Now, that's not true, and we know that they indeed do favors for people who donate to their campaigns. But even if we grant people that argument, well, this is not that. This is, hey, you give a speech for an hour, and then they're going to pay you over $200,000. Not going to a campaign, not going to a super PAC, not going to person X, Y, or Z that in theory is supposed to be disconnected from you and you're not in contact with or just doing political spending for you. No, this is directly into your bank account, directly into your wallet. So nobody can make the argument that she's not bought off and that Bill Clinton isn't bought off and that, you know, they're not going to maybe want to help out these people when she gets into power. Guys, don't be stupid. Okay, don't be naive. You want to know how you know this is indeed corruption? How would you react if somebody paid you over $200,000 to give an hour-long speech? I don't know about you guys, but I would tend to like those people. I'd say, oh man, nice people, huh? And then when you get power, it's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Hey, remember when I paid you over $200,000 to give that shitty speech that was just over an hour long? What are you going to do for me? I'm not asking you to go crazy or anything. I'm just saying, hey, we're up for this new subsidy. Why don't you try to push to get us this new subsidy or give us this special tax break or, you know, just do something for us that makes it so that you're repaying the favor. This is the way the world works. Now, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how a constitutional republic and a representative democracy is supposed to work. That's corruption. That's bribery. Make no mistake about it. So it's supposed to work where the president or any elected official, they do the bidding of the people. They care about their constituents. They care about democracy. And, of course, they have to uphold the Constitution as well. That's not debatable. Rights are off the table. But everything else should be open to democratic opinion. But we have a system now where the politicians are so corrupt that it's just part of the way the system works, where the mainstream media doesn't fucking bat an eyelash at it. They're like, yeah, what do you mean? They write articles where they report on how much each campaign is raising, and they say it as if it's like, yay, cheer Ted Cruz for raising more money than Ben Carson in this quarter. That just means he sold out more to donors, and he convinced them that, hey, I'll do shit for you when I get elected for special interests, and screw over the actual people and only care about the financial interests and the lobbyists and the corporations and the billionaires. That's not something to brag about. That's something that people should universally look at and say, oh, this system's fucked up. This system's rotten. And now we know, I mean, we already knew, for those of us who followed this closely, but you know that Hillary Clinton is bought by Wall Street. And also, I haven't even breached the topic of the Clinton Foundation and the fact that they also take money from everybody for the Clinton Foundation. Now, don't get me wrong, the Clinton Foundation does some fantastic stuff. But if you're taking money from corporations and billionaires and oftentimes foreign governments, like Saudi Arabia, for example, well, then lo and behold, look what happened when Saudi Arabia gave money to the Clinton Foundation. When Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, she okayed weapons deals to go to the government. The system is deeply corrupt, and the Clintons are the establishment. That's not to say they're as bad as Rick Santorum or Mike Huckabee or Ted Cruz. They're not. No doubt about it. I mean, they're so much better on social issues, and even on economic issues, they're a little bit better, okay? But they're deeply corrupt, and I'm not going to pretend like that's not the case to go, rah, Team Democrat. No, I'm going to give you the facts, because facts are facts, and if you don't like them, that's fucking tough cookies. But what we got to do is understand this and then take that into the voting booth with you. And perhaps you won't make a stupid decision in the primary season, for example, if you know that there's one candidate who's wholly bought off by the rich and by Wall Street, and there's one candidate who doesn't accept money from big money donors and from Wall Street and doesn't have a super PAC and doesn't want one because he wants to represent the people.